Arm balances they look cool, but they're also really hard. You start realizing where you may need some more strength and flexibility. So we're going to try a couple of different arm balances today. Ashtavakasana, Kundalini, Flying Crow, all of those. We'll give ourselves lots of breaks in between so that we don't fatigue anything, but just to give ourselves that work. So it's basically core work with a little bit of, finger strengthening, essentially. That's usually where it breaks down. Are you strong or weak or tight in the wrists, and do you need to work more on your back core and your front core? So we'll play with that and go from there. So let's go ahead and stand at the top of your mat. Make sure you have your two blocks at the top of your mat as well. Ooh, I gotta take my socks off. Okay, and then from here, we will start with a side stretch. So take your feet about hips distance apart. Roll your shoulders onto your back. Lengthen your tailbone down a little bit. Squeeze your legs together. And then just think about, okay, do my hip points need to come up or down? How does my back feel? So there should be a feeling of lengthening going on in the back, but it shouldn't be a tucking under, right? And then from here, take the arms up, grab your left wrist with your right hand, lift it nice and tall, and stretch over to your right hand side. Let your head rest on your right arm. And then come on up and switch sides. Grab your right wrist with your left hand and stretch over to the other side. Let your head rest on your left arm. Zip up your low belly like you're trying to put on a tight pair of pants. Keep squeezing your legs into the midline. And coming up on the inhale. Exhale, take the arms to the sides. Okay, let's go for our first sun salutation. Take the arms up on the inhale, look up. Exhale, fold, bend the knees a little bit. Take the hands down the ground. Lengthen the spine. Big inhale, reach your heart forward, your tailbone back. Zip up your belly, exhale, fold. Let's do a few more of these. Squeeze your legs into the midline. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, zip up your belly and fold. Two more. And last one. All right, plant the hands, step back. Press forward. Drop your knees, lower all the way down to your belly. Roll your shoulders onto your back. Stretch out through the legs. Roll your pubic bone toward the ground, and then lift the hands off the ground. So we're getting more into that back strengthening here. Often when we go into a cobra or an up dog, often we sort of neglect the back strengthening when we use the arms more. So keep working on pulling the belly in and the front ribs in, and gently trying to roll your pubic bone toward the ground. Make sure you're breathing deeply. Plant the hands back behind your shoulders, roll the shoulders onto your back, and then come to all fours. Knees are going to be below the hips. Slide your hands forward and bring your forehead or your chin to the ground. All right, present the hands, slide them back, spread your fingers out, make sure your wrist creases are roughly parallel to the front of the mat, and then flip your toes over and find a downward dog. And then walk it out a little bit. Relax your neck, shake out your head, nod your head. And look up. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Inhale, take it to the sky. And exhale, arms to the sides. Let's do another one. Take the arms up on the inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch forward and lengthen. Exhale, step back. Press forward, lift your chin, lower down halfway. Tops of the feet, inhale. Roll the shoulders onto your back. Press into your tops of your toes and see if you can get your thighs off the ground. Zip up your belly, roll your pubic bone toward the ground. And then exhale, downward dog. Walk it out a little bit. Relax your neck. And look up. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Inhale, take it to the sky. And exhale, arms to the sides. Let's do one more sun A. Take the arms up on the inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, step back. Press forward, lift your chin, lower down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. All right, once you get to your down dog, take your left hand and grab any part of your right leg and gently pull into a little bit of a twist. Unwind there, bring your left hand to the ground and grab any part of your left leg, anywhere from hip to ankle, and pull gently and look under your left armpit. And let that one go. Look up, inhale, step forward. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Inhale, take it to the sky. And exhale, arms to the sides. Big toes together, heels slightly apart. So let's work a little bit more into this Utkatasana. Take the fingers together and press the palms of the hands forward and sink back. And you're gonna sink back as deep as you can. Try to get your hips pretty low. Keep pressing forward with the palms of your hands. And as you're pressing forward, you still want to kind of pull the arm bones back into your shoulder sockets and zip up your low belly. All right, inhale, straighten up. And exhale, sink back down. Twist to your right. Hook that left arm to the outside of your right leg. And then look over your right shoulder. And see if you can drop your hips down a little bit more. Remember to breathe. All right, inhale, straighten up. Exhale, sink to the other side. Warm up those oblique abdominals a little bit. And inhale, come on up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, step back. Press forward, drop all the way down to your belly again. All right, walk your hands back again, slightly behind the shoulders. You can even go back near the chest. Roll the shoulders onto your back. Lengthen your legs. Roll your pubic bone toward the ground. Go ahead and push up. Roll the shoulders onto your back a little bit more. So we're doing a cobra here. Your pelvis might come off the ground a little bit. Roll your pubic bone toward the ground. Keep extending your legs. And if you feel any compression in your low back, bend your elbows a little bit. Keep pulling the front ribs in and the low belly in. All right, so push back. Again, we're gonna do a little bit more shoulder, hips over the knees. Slide forward, bring your forehead and your chin to the ground. And then breathe deeply and start melting your heart toward the ground. So your heart may not actually come to the ground, your chest may not actually come to the ground, but you're gonna try. Keep zipping up your low belly. And then from here, slide those hands back, flip your toes over, find a downward dog. You want that same bit of melting through the heart in your down dog. So that doesn't translate to everything. You still want to pull your front ribs in, your low belly in, but see if you can melt your heart toward the ground a little bit. Lift your armpits up. Roll your shoulders onto your back. Lengthen your neck. Pull the low belly in again. Pull the front ribs in again. But see if you can find that melting feeling right between the shoulder blades. And look up. Step your right leg forward. Drop your back heel to the ground. Come into warrior one. All right, once you're in your warrior one, pull the belly in again, pull the front ribs in, drop the shoulders and look up toward the thumbs. And big exhale. Take the hands down to the ground, step your right leg back. Press forward, lower down. Inhale, up dog. And take it up. Press into the outer edge of your back foot. Lift your front hip points up. Zip up your belly. Pull the front ribs in. Look towards your thumbs. Drop your shoulders. And big exhale. Take the hands down to the ground. Step back. Press forward, lower down. Inhale, up dog. Shoulders down. Exhale, down dog. Hang out here for a moment. You can also do child's pose. That's a really great way to stretch out the back. Relax your neck. All right, let's get a little bit more into the groin area of the hips. Lunge your right leg forward again. Drop your back heel. Come into warrior one. And then we're going to get a little closer to the ground. So you might need your block. Take your hands down to the ground and slide that left foot back a little bit. See if you can get your right leg a little closer to parallel. And then squeeze your inner thighs toward each other. Drag your feet toward each other. And then walk your hands over to the left corner of your mat. And you can do a couple of adjustments here. So I like to swing my hips out and then firm up my inner thigh and then tack my outer right hip back around again. See if that helps a little bit. And then we'll walk it back to the center, step your right leg back, press forward, lower down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left leg lunges. Big inhale, take it up. Press into the outer edge of your back foot. Zip up your belly, and then take the hands down. Slide that right foot back just a little bit more. Get your left thigh a little closer to parallel. Drag your feet toward each other. Walk it over to the right corner. And then take a moment to get your inner right thigh lifting up a little bit more. Keep dragging your feet toward each other and tack your outer left hip back. So you can go inner thighs back and then tack your outer left hip back. And then see if you can get your arms a little straighter. Big breaths. And take it back to the center. Step your left leg back. Press forward, lower down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Again, down dog or child's pose, both fantastic. They both stretch out your back. We want to start getting that back a little bit longer. All right, take about 2 more big breaths here. And look up. Inhale, lunge your right leg forward again, drop your back heel. Come into warrior one, and then open it for warrior two. So once you're in warrior two, we're gonna get our blocks here. Block's gonna come to the inside of your right leg, and my right arm is gonna press back into my right shin and the inside of my right knee. Then take your left arm over your head. Keep pressing your right arm back into your right leg, and gently twist your right rib cage toward the ceiling. All right, bring that left hand to your hip and straighten up your front leg. Lengthen. We're just going for a supported triangle here. Keep trying to twist your right rib cage toward the ceiling. This right knee is going to start rolling in toward the big toe. So roll your right knee out, keeping it lined up with your middle 3 toes as you gently twist your rib cage toward the ceiling. And then let's reach back with your left arm. So you're just opening up that left shoulder, almost as if somebody's walking up behind you and about to hand you something. So you're just reaching back. All right, look down. Bring your hands hands down to either side of your right foot. Turn your left toes forward. From here, put your block under your left shoulder. And then start gently twisting to the right. So your back heel is up, all 10 toes are pointing forward. You're looking over your right shoulder. We're going to get a little bit more into this outer right hip here. So you're going to bend your knee, squeeze your inner thighs together, and then slowly start straightening up that leg. It may not go totally straight. And then bend the knee, squeeze your inner thighs together, and then gently start straightening. Make sure you're breathing. About 2 more to go here. All right, take the hands down to the ground, move your block a little bit out of the way, step that right leg back, press forward, lower down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left leg lunges. Big inhale, take it up. And you're going to open up for warrior 2. So your left foot lines up with the heel arch of your back foot. Drop your shoulders, lift your triceps, make sure your arm bones, your arm muscles aren't hanging off your arm bones, so kind of lift them and drop the shoulders. And then from here, go ahead and bring that block to the inside of your left leg. So you can go high, you can go lower, your choice. You're going to push back into that left leg. And then right arm is going to come next to your ear. So lengthen to the left side, press that left leg back, gently twist your left ribcage toward the ceiling. All right, straighten up that front leg a little bit so you're in triangle, and you can come up a little higher if you need to. And then keep squeezing your inner thighs together, drag your feet toward the midline, reach back with that right arm as if somebody's handing you something. Left knee is rolling in, so pay attention to that, roll the left knee out a little bit, try to keep it lined up with your middle 3 toes. All right, and then slowly come forward so your hands are on the ground. Turn your right toes forward. Put the block under your right hand, right shoulder. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Gently twist and take your left arm toward the sky. And then bend that left knee, squeeze the legs together, and then gently push into that left foot and straighten up the left leg a little bit. Again, it doesn't have to go totally straight. Inhale. Exhale. Keep breathing. One more. And left hand to the ground. Take your block to the side. Step your left leg back. Press forward. Lower down. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, down dog. Take a moment here. Either walk your feet out, or you might even want to be in child's pose and just get nice and stretched out through the spine. All right, now you see if our back has lengthened out a little bit, if we've got a little bit extra space there. So look up, step your feet forward, big toes touching. Exhale, fold. Sink into Utkatasana, squeeze your inner thighs together. Take the arms up, drop the shoulders, and then see if you can bring your arms back a little bit more in line with your ears. And we just did a bunch of stuff to help open up some of those back muscles, to engage them a little bit more. All right, inhale, straighten. Exhale, take the arms to the sides. Take the arms up on the inhale again, sit back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, step back. Press forward, lower down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Right leg lunges. Warrior 1. And then open up warrior 2. Okay, we're gonna use the block again. This time block's gonna come behind the shin to the outside at the right angle. Again, you go high or low with this block. Press your right leg back into the right arm. Place your left hand on your hip, lengthen through your right side, and gently twist again. A little bit harder this time because you're actually actively pressing your right leg back now. and you don't have the help of that right arm. All right, from here, come into Warrior Two, and then turn the palm of the right hand toward the ceiling and come into Exalted Warrior. All right, now straighten up that front leg so we're in this weird reverse triangle. All right, come on up. Turn your right toes forward. So the outer edges of your feet are parallel to the short edges of your mat. Interlace your fingers. Stretch your fist down. Lift your heart on the inhale. And then exhale, forward bend. So trick here is keep your chin up. Draw your shoulder blades together. Squeeze your legs into midline. If you're trying to get your arms to come up a little bit, make sure you keep lifting your chin and working on getting the shoulder blades to draw toward the spine. All right, bend the knees, inhale, come on up. Bring your hands to your hips. You're gonna shorten up your stance a little bit. Turn toward the front of your mat. All right, we're gonna do a little bit more reverse triangle here. So take the arms behind your head. You can either bring your hands into prayer position, which is pretty tough, or you can grab your forearms or elbows. So whatever you can grab is fine. And then shoulders on your back, belly in, front ribs in. And we're gonna do a forward bend. Excuse me. And then belly in, front ribs in, and bring, notice my spine is really long, so you want to keep your spine long, keep pressing down through your back heel, that's your anchor point. And as you progress in this posture, belly might come to the thigh someday. That's number one. So that's what you're going for, is not rounding the back, but keeping the chest and the chin up and seeing if you can hinge at the hips. So belly might come to the thigh, and then eventually someday chest will come to the knee, chin is still up, and then someday you can kind of push your forearms or your hands into your back and get a little bit more length through the spine and through the back, and eventually chin will come to the shin. But what you're going for is not super goal oriented, you're just trying to keep everything nice and long through the spine. It's nice though to kind of press your forearms and hands into your back because you'll get some more length back there. You'll feel like your back is getting longer. All right, now we're gonna go for the twist. So come up about halfway, hands come to the thigh or the shin or the ground or blocks. So just take a moment there in your forward bend. And then we're gonna go for the twist. So if you're a little tight and you're up higher, you're gonna use your block. Take your left hand to the block, right thumb into your right hip crease, squeeze your inner thighs together, reach your heart forward, and then gently twist. And if that right hip crease seems to be doing a pretty good job of tacking back, then you can take that right arm toward the sky. But if your right hip really wants to swing forward, keep pressing back with your right thumb. Help out a little bit. You should be feeling this down the outside of your right thigh. So outer right hip, IT band. All right, take the right hand to the ground, step back, and take a child's pose for a moment. We did a lot of twisty steps. You want to make sure your SI joint's in a happy, neutral place. All right, let's go for the other side. So lunge your left leg forward. Come into warrior one, and then open it for warrior two. All right, block goes to the outside. When you're ready, zip up that low belly, bring your left hand to the block behind your leg, bring your right hand to your hip, press your left leg back into your left arm. As you're doing that, lengthen through the left side, and gently twist your left rib cage toward the ceiling. So you should be feeling something going on in your outer left hip. It's a strengthening move since you're pressing that left leg back. You're opening up your inner thigh, and you're using your gluteus medius and minimus to press your left leg back into your left arm. All right, from here, turn this into a warrior two. And then we're gonna go for exalted warrior. Turn the palm of the left hand toward the sky and come on up. Look up towards your left hand. Now straighten the leg to get that nice oblique stretch. And come on up. All right, bring your hands to your hips, turn your left toes in. Make sure your outer edges of the feet are parallel to the short edges of the mat. We're gonna try to grab our toes this time. Lift your heart on the inhale, and then exhale, forward bend. So grab your big toes or bring your hands to your shins. Pull up a little bit. Inhale, lengthen your heart. Exhale, float. Squeeze your legs together. Roll your shoulders onto your back. All right, bend the knees, bring the hands to the hips. Inhale, come on up. Shorten up your stance. Turn toward the front of your mat. So left toes pointing to roughly 12 o'clock, right toes pointing to roughly 1 o'clock. Take the arms behind your back again. Grab your forearms, maybe do a reverse prayer position. Pull the front ribs in. Zip up your belly, lift your chin. As you exhale, make sure your back stays nice and long, your chest is lifted, your chin is lifted. Lift your elbows. You can use your forearms or hands to gently draw up the spine. Give yourself a little bit more stretch there through the back. Keep pushing down through your back heel. Make sure you're nice and anchored. Big breaths. All right, come on up, let's go for the twist. So if you want to use your blocks, take it to the outside of your left foot. And then take the left thumb and the left hip crease, reach your heart forward, reach your tailbone back, tack that left hip crease back, zip up the belly, and then exhale, gently twist, and look over that left shoulder. And keep squeezing those inner thighs together, and keep tacking that left hip back. And if that left hip back stays back, then take that left arm toward the sky. But if you start feeling your left hip swinging forward, it's better to keep your thumb in your hip crease. All right, exhale, look down. Inhale, come on up and step up in front of your mat. Okay, so standing pigeon, this is going to help on a lot of stuff. Spread your toes out on your left foot. Make a little bend in your left leg and cross your right ankle on top. So once you're here, flex your toes back. And then you're going to start bending this standing leg. So here you are, hands maybe on your hips. This is great, getting this IT band stretch down the outside of the hip. If you want to get a little bit more stability, you can take your hands to a wall or take your hands to the blocks. Okay, so I highly recommend, if this is boring and you want to do a little extra, I highly recommend adding a little bit more in with the arms. So I'll kind of turn this way so everybody can see. Okay, so maybe push your right foot and your left arm into each other. So I'm pressing my left arm into the midline, pressing my right foot out. Gives you a little bit more in that outer right hip and down the leg. You can also wrap the foot around and grab the outside of your left arm and pull. So now my left arm is pushing out as my right foot pushes in or pulls in. And then, if that's feeling okay, you can press your right shin forward into the back of the arm, so add something here, and then you'll really feel it in the outer right hip. So Ashtavakrasana, the 8-limb pose, the crooked man pose, this is one of those postures where you really need that outer right hip to start opening up a little bit. All right, and come on up. Let's go for the other side. So make a little bend in that right leg. Cross the left leg on top, flex the toes back, hang out, use your blocks if you'd like, breathe deeply. So at first you're just going for a little bit of a standing pigeon here. Later you can add in, as you breathe into this, you can add in stuff. But give your hips a moment to breathe first, right? Like get some blood flow into those very large muscles. All right, maybe press the left foot into the right arm and vice versa. Maybe wrap your left foot around the outside of your right arm and tug as you press your right arm out. And then if this feels pretty good, take a few breaths and even keep tugging and keep pressing out with your right arm, but see if you can press your left shin forward into the back of your right arm. All right, and then come on out of it. Nice job, walk it out a little bit. Okay, so from here, let's come to the ground. Take the arms up on the inhale, exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch forward, step your left leg back. Drop your back knee. Bring your arms to the inside of your right leg and maybe bring your arms down to a block or down to the ground. So a little bit of inner thigh, quads getting stretched out here, your sagittal plane. All right, bring your hands underneath you, step back, lift your left leg toward the sky. See if you get a little bit of a lift in your right hip crease. And bring your left knee forward. And then once you're here, same thing, see if you can go a little bit deeper. Maybe forearms to a block or maybe forearms to the ground. Drag to the midline, drag your right knee and your left heel toward each other. Breathe deeply, just figure out where you can go, where your breath will take you. All right, and then plant the hands, step back again. This time, lift your right leg toward the sky. So take 5 breaths here. Relax your neck. All right, and then you're going to bring your foot down to the ground and drop your knees wide and come into a child's pose. So again, just making sure this is we're doing the sagittal plane stuff, your SI joints in a happy place. Okay, next. All right, so let's go for a little bit more core, and then what we'll do is work on the arm balance that was requested. So you're gonna come for, let's go for the boat Navasana, and when you do boat, there are a couple different ways to do it so that you're happy with it. So it doesn't have to look really beautiful, you just need to make sure that your back is really long. So you're lifting your chest and your shoulder blades are drawing down towards your hips. And a really great way to do this is simply to put your fingers back behind you. So from here, take your legs up. Bent legs is a really great intermediate way to do it. Eventually you're gonna go for straight legs, so you just decide, but just make sure your back doesn't collapse on you. So keep breathing. Big inhales, big exhales. If you wanna take those arms out in front of you, you can. Take about 2 more big breaths. All right, cross the ankles. Go ahead and use your blocks. Push into the blocks. Lift your feet up, and then see if you can press down and lift your hips up. All right, next one. We're gonna do another boat. So maybe put your hands behind you or maybe grab the backs of your thighs. Again, bent legs or straight legs. Keep lifting your chest. Cross and lift. All right, good work. So next thing we're gonna do is take a moment, take your legs out in front of you. We're gonna take your hands and line them up so that your first of all, your fingers are pointing toward your feet. Second of all, your first finger is lining up with the outside of your hips. Once you're there, roll your shoulders onto your back and lift your chest. So this is a great posture, especially if you're tight in the shoulders, just hanging out here. And the way you can tell is if you've got a lot of weight in your pinky finger, then press down a little bit more strongly between thumb and first finger. So big inhales, big exhales. Keep lifting your chest. If this is tough to do, getting weight into your inner hand, stay here. If it's not tough, you can go to your next step, which is walking your feet in and coming into a tabletop posture. Relax your neck. Keep trying to lift your chest toward the ceiling as you press into your inner hand between thumb and first finger. All right, bring it down, take a moment, bring the bottoms of your feet together, open up the feet like a little book, and you're gonna round your back and bring your forehead toward your toes. And I like to swing just slightly from side to side, get a little bit more of the side in as well as the back, the middle back. All right, let's add in a little bit more. So we're gonna do 2 more core postures here. You're gonna lie on your back, take your legs up, and then we're gonna go from side to side. So arms are gonna come out to the sides, palms up toward the ceiling. Some people feel a little wobbly here through the shoulders. You can also go for kind of like saguaro cactus arms, 90-degree bend in the arms, and press your elbows down that way. So as you go from side to side, that's what you can think of as pressing elbow into ground. So from here, bring your legs in a little bit. And then you're gonna lower to, let's go ahead and lower to the left a little bit. So you're going like maybe to about 70, 80 degrees. And then take a moment to really get to the outer left hip. So go ahead and roll, lift your hips up and roll to your outer left hip. Stick your tailbone out, so a little bit of a curve in the low back. Keep your legs together. And then you're gonna bring your knees in towards your left elbow, or you're gonna bring your feet in towards your left hand. So we're not going for low, right? You're not trying to get all the way down to the ground necessarily. What you're trying to do is find something that you can maintain. So if you're really only at a 45-degree angle, that's fine. Keep sticking your tailbone out. Keep thinking about the fact that someday you want to put your feet in your hand, but right now you're just going that direction and trying to maintain. And then you press that left elbow into the ground. And then wrap your left belly toward your right belly. Don't forget to breathe. All right, come on up. Take a moment, bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. All right, let's go for the other side. So, legs come in. Gonna go a little bit to the right, and then take a moment to lift the hips and readjust and get onto your outer right hip. Stick your tailbone out, so you have a nice little curve in your low back. And then as you start lowering, whether the knees are bent and you're pulling in towards your elbow, or whether the legs are straight and you're bringing your feet in towards your right hand, you're trying to maintain. So remember to breathe. Remember to keep sticking your tailbone out. Press your right elbow into the ground. Keep those breaths strong. All right, come back up. Let's do a happy baby dead bug. Grab your big toes, rock them side to side. Extend your left leg and bring your right heel in, and then try to drop your left hip to the ground. Let's go for the other side. Extend your right leg and pull your left heel in and try to drop your left hip to the ground. All right, happy baby again. All right, and then bring your feet to the ground for just a moment. Walk your feet out to the sides of the mat and then drop the knees in toward each other. This next one is going to look familiar. You're going to draw your legs down and up and down and up. But what's most important about it is that you maintain a little bit of a curve in your low back. So these middle back ribs are super important. You're going to press them into the ground, and this is a really good way to do this. So I like having sort of an anchor. Well, it's not an anchor, but it's a marker that helps you anchor. So you're going to bring your strap right here above your waist, bottom ribs. It should be like tips of the shoulder blades below the tips of the shoulder blades. So pretty much middle back. And that, when you press down with your ribs and pull your ribs in and press the strap down, you can feel the strap there, and that's really important because you want to make sure you're using your transverse abdominals in this posture. They're super important. So I'm pressing my ribs down into the strap. You can even kind of pull on the strap just to make sure, am I really pressing there? I have a little bit of a curve in the low back, just a little bit. So I know that I'm pressing my rib cage down. You can kind of tug here. So when we do partner exercises, we often have somebody kind of tugging and reminding you, like, that's where you need to press down, right there. So from here, once you feel that, go ahead and lower your legs to about 60 degrees and just notice, am I able to move the strap? If you're not, good. That means you're pressing your ribs down correctly and you're using your transverse abdominals. So just check in every once in a while, kind of just pull on that strap, figure out, are my ribs down? And then if you're doing pretty well, maybe lower down a little bit more. So as you continue to lower, a couple of different things happen here. Some people end up flattening their low backs into the ground, which is what you don't want to do. You want to have a nice little curve in your low back, little bubble of air there. And a lot of people, the middle back starts popping up. So keep pressing down with the transverse abdominals down and keep that middle back down the ground. If you can lower down a little bit more with the legs, fine, but do not lower your legs if you start feeling like the strap underneath your middle ribs is starting to get loose and you can pull on it and it'll slide out. So as long as it's not sliding, lower your legs. And that's what we're going for. It's just every once in a while, test that strap out. Can I lower my legs and keep my middle back pressing that strap into the ground? Don't forget to breathe. And if you go really low, great, but that's not the point. The point is, can you keep your transverse abdominals in? And those are the important muscles here for all of our arm balances. All right, bring the knees in, give yourself a little hug, a little squeeze, rock from side to side. Let's do a pigeon on our back. So you're going to cross your right ankle just below your left knee on the thigh. Take your right arm through the gap in your legs, grab the back of your thigh, the front of your shin, and gently pull that left leg in. As you pull the left leg in, resist a little bit, press it out. And I like rocking from side to side here, so you can get a little curve in your low back. Take a moment to just rock all the way to the right side and all the way to the left side. All right, now we're going to turn this into cow face pose. So you're going to slide your right leg over your left leg, and this is the hard part. Once you close that gap between your thighs, you got to reach that left foot. So sometimes you have to lasso it with a strap. If you can't lasso, just keep working on it, get that strap around. Otherwise, just grab the outside of your foot, the pinky edge of your foot with your right hand. Once you grab that foot that's farthest away, whether it's with the hand or the strap, then grab your left foot. And then you're going to see if you can bring your head and shoulders back to the ground. And then gently press your knees away from you and try to roll your tailbone toward the ground. And keep those ankles super straight. So they tend to curl in a little bit. You want to make sure you keep pulling the pinky edges of your feet toward you. And then definitely rock here. If you rock over to that left side, you're going to feel a huge hip stretch down your IT band of your right leg. All right, and then come back to the center. And then we're going to unwind and go for pigeon on the other side. So right foot on the ground, left ankle crosses over. Take your left arm through the gap in your legs, grab the back of your right thigh or the front of your right shin. Flex the toes back toward the knee. Inhale, pull the right leg in, but resist a little bit. Exhale, relax. And again, rocking a little bit from side to side can be very informative, figuring out where those tight spots are in your hips. Keep breathing. Big inhales and big exhales. So we're trying to get into the outer hips here in order to do Ashtavakrasana or Ekapada Kunanyasana. Both of them require a little bit of inner thigh hip opener and outer hip opener. Okay, then we're going to go for left thigh sliding over, try to close that gap between the legs. Lasso your right foot or lift your head and shoulders up and we'll grab the outside of your right foot with your left hand and then grab the outside of your left foot with your right hand. And then see if you can bring your head and shoulders down and then rock from side to side a little bit to get that information. Where are you tight? So if you rock over to that right side, you're going to feel a lot of stretch happening through the outer left hip. Take some big deep breaths. Keep pressing your knees gently away from you. And not everybody can close their legs completely here, so that's why the strap is really helpful. Take about 2 more big breaths. All right. Unwind, go ahead and roll up and down your back and come up to seated posture. And then we're going to do one more posture for the inner thigh area. So from here, make sure you have 2 blocks. And this is a great one. It just helps alleviate some of the stress of trying to get into an inner thigh groin stretch. It's the splits, but it makes it a lot easier. So you want to make sure blocks are half on, half off the mat. And then you're gonna take your knees to each side. And essentially, as you get more comfortable with this, your knees are gonna slide out more. Feet can be toward each other. That helps a lot if you're really, really tight in the groin. If you're a little bit looser in the groin, shins can be parallel to the side of the mat. So decide where you wanna put your feet. You're gonna find something that feels right. And then breathe deeply. Zip up your belly. Pull the front ribs in. Keep your chin up. Tighten up your butt a little bit. So tighten up your glute muscles in the back there, and that'll help those inner thighs stretch out a little bit. Take about 3 or 4 more big breaths. All right, let's get a little bit more hamstring in there just in case it feels like it's been a while since you've done that at the beginning of the practice, essentially. So take your left leg in front of you. Right foot is going to press into your inner left thigh. So, and then what you're going to do is just gently twist toward your left leg and go for your foot. Again, a strap is really helpful if you can't quite reach comfortably. So from this place, as you inhale, lift your heart, exhale, twist your belly button toward your thigh and relax. And then if you do manage to get a hold of your foot, or even if you're using a strap, you're going to pull back a little bit. So my foot is pressing out and resisting and extending through the stretch a little bit, and I'm pulling my foot back with either my hands or my strap. And then if you can, keep pushing that right foot and left thigh together, and also tighten up the top of your left thigh. So you're pressing your left thigh toward the ground. right, let's go for the other leg. So you're gonna take your right leg forward, put your left foot into your thigh, sit up tall, twist your belly button toward your thigh, and then go for the strap or the foot and breathe deeply. Press your left foot and right thigh into each other. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, twist gently toward your thigh. Keep tightening at the top of the thigh and pressing the thigh bone down. Inner right thigh and left foot are pushing into each other. And you're reaching out through your right foot and pulling in with your strap or your hands. Okay, so from here, now we're going to try the Ekapana Kundyasana that was requested. So it's an it's an arm balance that has an inner thigh area that's been stretched out. So we've done some of that. And there's a little bit of hamstring as well. So you're going to come into your lunge and then take your hands to the ground. And then what you're going to do is make sure that as you bend your right elbow, you're able to put the back of your right arm. So I'm going to take my right arm underneath my right leg, grab the back of my right calf, so I'm going to kind of push forward with my right hand and bring my right hand flat to the ground. So I've got a little bit of a shelf there with my right arm, and my right leg is going to come down. The back of my right leg is going to come down on the back of my right arm eventually. So hands are pretty wide. They're wider than shoulder distance. And then you're going to get the back of the right leg against the back of the right arm. And then you can extend that left leg. So this is a great way to just kind of play with this. Like, how are my hamstrings feeling? Do I feel like I've got hamstrings for this? And if you're here and you're like, ooh, this is huge hamstring stretch, then play with this. If this feels pretty good, then you're going to start sliding that right leg forward so you can get your right leg off the ground. So that's stage 2 right there. And I'll demonstrate from a couple different directions here. So still right arm underneath. And then that's when elbows start bending more. So right leg, left leg, see if you can get that right leg off the ground. That's your stage 2. Stage 3, bend that elbow and see if you can get that left leg up. So try that, see how that feels. Breathe deeply. It's that back leg that, again, has such a hard time lifting, and that's why flying crow is fantastic to practice as well, because you start getting that back strength and that butt strength, and we're about to do that. So let's try for the other side. All right, so from here, left leg lunges forward. Go for your nice lunge here. Take a moment and breathe. Then you take your left arm underneath, press into the back of your left calf, and get the back of your left leg against the back of your left arm. So my hands are wider than shoulder distance apart. Nice big breath. My left elbow is bent enough to make a shelf for my left leg to rest on. Start with the right leg first, so you can get the right leg straight, because it's a pretty big stretch. And then, so you can go for your left leg. And if that's working, then you bend that right elbow and then see if you can get both legs up. And try that. And don't worry if you only do it for a second, because we're doing another one. So take a breather if you want to, or keep practicing for a moment, and then we'll try the next one. Actually, let's give our wrists a little bit of a break, and then we'll come back to it. So from here, go ahead and come onto your back. And we'll keep working on this. So this isn't the only day we'll do this, but I just want to give you a little bit of a touch of what we're doing for maybe the next week. We'll see. So you're going to hug your right knee into your chest and extend your left leg. If you think about flying crow, so crow is this posture, right? If you think about flying crow, you've got an extension with one leg and the other knee's pulling in, which is why you're using your front belly, core, and your back at the same time. So go ahead and keep that right leg squeezing in, taking some deep breaths. All right, keep that left heel on the ground, and then go for your crow arms as if you're clawing the ceiling and doing an arm balance on the ceiling, and then bring that right knee into your chest or into your right arm. So I'm trying to pull that right knee into my right arm. Take some deep breaths. Big inhales, big exhales, keep pulling in. All right, let's go for the other side. Extend your right leg, hug your left knee in. So you're gonna give yourself a nice big squeeze, left thigh into the left rib cage. Big inhales, big exhales, and then bring that left knee into your left arm. Keep breathing. All right, so from here, we're gonna do this one more time on each side. Bring your knees into your chest, squeeze in, take a few breaths. And then try it one more time on each side. I'm gonna go off screen for just a second, but do it one more time on each side. So try this one more time. Right knee in, squeeze in, squeeze in, squeeze in. Keep trying to touch the back of the right arm. Big inhales, big exhales. There's a lot of work happening through the belly here as you do this. Go for the other side. Big breathing. All right, and then bring your knees back in. Give yourself a squeeze, rock from side to side. All right, let's flip over onto our belly. Work a little bit of the back muscles here. And then we'll try for our flying crow. So from here, take your hands behind your back and bring the backs of your hands to your hips. And then lift your elbows. And then lift your legs up, squeeze your legs together, and lift your chest up. All right, take a moment, make a little pillow with your hands, turn your head to one side. Now we're gonna lift one leg up at a time. So we're gonna go a little bit more into the old-fashioned Shalabhasana. You're gonna take your hands underneath you. So I like to interlace my fingers, thumbs next to each other. You can also put your hands flat on the ground, either direction. So the old-fashioned way is palms the hands on the ground, and then kind of a cheating trick is backs the hands on the ground. You just decide what works. I find that backs the hands is just doesn't really give me the strength I need, so I go thumbs next to each other, interlace fingers. So underneath, chin on the ground. You can also take your chin off the ground, and then you're gonna take your right leg up and zip up your low belly. Leg. All right, and let that one go. All right, go for a child's pose. Take a moment, breathe. All right, let's try for it. Let's go for flying pigeon. So flying pigeon, remember you can break it into two parts and work the core, the front of the core first, then you can try to work the back of the core and just kind of go back and forth. And the more and more you do it, the more you're going to find that balance of strength. So there's a little bit of coordination here. This is one of the reasons why it's really tough. So you're going to claw the ground, step your right leg forward, bend your right elbow. You're going to try to bring your right knee or right shin to the back of your right arm. And there are a lot of different variations here. So nothing is perfect. They're all different ways. Eventually you want your right knee pretty close to your armpit, but wherever it ends up right now is fine if you're a little bit lower. So from here, you can bring that right shin to the back of the right arm. My right arm is pushing back into my right shin, and I'm gonna see if I can get my right foot off the floor. And as you're here, just like when you're on your back, you're gonna feel some engagement happening through your belly and through the front of your rib cage. Claw the ground, make sure you're using your finger muscles. Okay, then you can put your right foot on the ground. You're still pressing your right shin into the back of your right arm. And now you're taking your left leg up. So you can start feeling that Shalabhasana stuff happening with the back and the buttocks. And you can just keep switching back and forth there. If you'd like to try the full-blown posture, it helps to have the right foot up first. So right shin presses down, lift your chin, lift your heart. Then you kind of just tiptoe forward with that left foot, and eventually left leg lifts, right? Woo. That was big for me this morning. Okay, try it, see how that feels. I'll give you 30 more seconds. Take a break if you need to. If you need to take a moment with your wrist, go ahead and place your thumb across your 9 ligaments of your wrist, press down, and then shake it out. And then do the same thing on the other side. All right, let's try for the other leg. So claw the ground, left leg steps forward. Press the back of your left leg into your left arm. Keep using your finger muscles. Zip up your belly, lift your chin, and then see if you can get your left foot off the ground. And then put that left foot on the ground. Keep pressing left shin and left arm into each other, and lift your right leg. And if you want to take a little break, you can, especially if those wrists are bugging you a little bit. It does take some time to not just get them flexible, but get them strong. So give yourself breaks. And then if you want to try for forward and backward, front leg and then back leg, or if you just want to kind of hang out with that left foot up, and see if you can come forward more, and then kind of lift that right leg up. For some reason this morning I can't, but that's just how it is sometimes, right? So breathe deeply. We're going to keep working on this one. Keep breathing. Place that thumb on your wrist if you need a little extra relaxation here. Press down and shake. All right, let's go ahead and lie on your back one more time. Take your feet out to the sides of your mat and drop your knees in toward each other. So again, just making sure that we're getting our SI joint here into a neutral place. We did a lot of sagittal plane stuff, and the SI joint can sometimes get pulled in weird directions. So take a moment here. All right, now we're going to go for a block underneath, and we'll move a little bit more into back bending quadriceps. So press into the ground, take the block and stick it under your pelvis, super close to your tailbone. Again, just another little SI joint relaxation exercise here. Grab the sides of your mat and pull your shoulders underneath you. Press the back of your head into the ground. All right, if you want to take that block and put it a little bit higher, you can lift your heels, push into the ground, and see if you can get your block up at its highest level. If you are a little bit tight, and this often happens for shorter people too, if you have shorter legs, shorter torso, sometimes that longest height, it doesn't work, but you can go for 2 blocks like this. So it's about 2 inches shorter, but it can be a little bit more comfortable and still get you that nice back bend you need if you are on the shorter side. And I've got short legs and a long torso, so for me, I can get a little higher. Deep breaths. Okay, the next posture we're going into is Matsyasana. So it's the fish posture, and your hips are going to stay down on this one. So this one is sort of training you to think your hips need to be up. The next one, your hips stay down. So take that to the side, your blocks. Sit on your hands, palms down. Roll your shoulders underneath you. So I'm essentially lying down on my arms. Legs are straight. And then I'm going to start bending my elbows and lifting my chest. And everybody's a little bit different here with the neck. So some people pull their chins into their chest if their necks are really tender. If you feel comfortable letting your head hang back, do that. There's another variation where the top of your head is on the ground. And you can also take your legs up and start using low belly. And this is great for some of those arm balances we tried earlier, getting that low belly to start doing some more work. And if you can't do two legs, you can always do one leg. So one leg will start working you toward it without feeling like it's a big strain on your psoas, your hip flexor. So good back bend. All right, lift your head up, bring your head to the ground, release your arms. Take a moment and just relax. All right, we are ready for a bigger back bend now. So I'll demonstrate with blocks. If you have really tight shoulders, and a lot of us do, the problem with back bends is your arms are kind of here instead of here, right? And the blocks really help give you that space. So what you can do is, if you're using a wall, I'll go ahead and just use my bookcase here. So if you're using bookcase, wall, whatever, you're going to go to about a 45-degree angle with the blocks. And what that's going to do is give you some space to not have to use your shoulders quite as much. Give them, because they're tight for a reason. You're not going to make them open up all at once. So head comes down between the blocks. And then I'm going to take my hands, fingers down at that 45-degree angle, walk my feet in. So my feet should be below my knees. Press into the ground and lift my hips up. Big breaths. And this is a great place to stay. And then if you want to try more, you're going to try to get your back up off the ground. So elbows point up, lift up, and then see if you can come to the top of your head. If you can, pull those elbows in and then come up all the way. If you're a little bit more flexible and you have more space in the shoulders, then you can bring your hands to blocks here. Pull those armpits in and walk your chest toward the wall a little bit more. And go ahead and come on down. Take a moment, walk your feet out to the sides of your mat, drop your knees in toward each other. And it's always a good idea to do one or two more. One of those reasons is the first one's hard, but you loosen up a bunch of stuff. The second one, you're a little tired, but you're a little looser, right? So try a second one. If you're really tired and you're just like, oh, I don't want to push up again, you can always flip over onto your belly and grab your feet and go into a bow. So that's always an option. But let's do another back bend, whatever variation you choose. It can be a bridge also. So if this is your bridge and you're like, whoop, that's it, that's fine. So keep breathing. You feel like going into a little bit deeper back bend. Pull those arms in. Keep pulling the armpits away from the wall. And take a breather. And I love a bunch of back bends in the morning because it gives you a ton of energy. If this is an evening practice for you, you may not want to do as many back bends because they can actually give you insomnia. They give you a lot of energy, right? So if too close to bedtime, you may end up finding out that you have too much energy to relax and go to sleep. All right, last back bend. Whatever one it is, could be gentle, it could be bigger, it's up to you. So breathe deeply, step up that belly, pull the front ribs in. Pull those armpits in, get those arm bones in your shoulder sockets. And take a moment and rest. You may want to walk your feet off the mat and drop the knees in. If you're on your belly, just take a moment and rest nice and long. So you can also rest by just extending your legs, whether out on your back or on your belly. All right, bring your right knee into your chest, give yourself a squeeze. Take that right arm out to the side, look over your right shoulder, and go for a little bit of a twist. Roll onto your outer left hip. Take your right leg across to your left side. Come back to the center, hug your left knee into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. Take your left arm to the side, roll onto your outer right hip, bring your left leg across the body to the right, stick your tailbone out a little bit, look over your left shoulder. All right, so if you did do some pretty deep back bends, I would highly recommend getting a block under your pelvis again. And it can be pretty simple. It could just be hips on the block at its lowest level, and then take your legs up for legs against the wall. You can also go for that variation where you take the block to its medium height and scoot it really close to the tailbone. So whichever one feels better for you. Get the shoulders underneath you. Start slowing down the breath. Count to 5 as you inhale. Count to 10 as you exhale.
So if you have a little extra time to continue to rest in your variation of Shavasana, please do. If you need to get up and get going, take a moment and wiggle your fingers and toes and roll your wrists and ankles in small circles. Take your arms over your head and your legs a little bit closer together. Take a big inhale, stretch out your body. And a big exhale, relax. And then the next one, let's hold it for 5 counts. Take a big inhale, stretch it out and hold the breath. On 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5. Big exhale, relax. Plug your knees into your chest and roll gently from side to side. And it takes a little bit more energy to roll up and down. So if you want to come up more relaxed, you can roll over onto one side first and press yourself up. And again, you're absolutely invited to stay in Shavasana longer. And either physically or mentally bring your hands into your heart center. And just take a moment to thank yourself for getting to your mats. The hardest part of the yoga practice, especially this early in the morning, is just getting here. Bring your hands up to your forehead for kind thoughts, down to your lips for kind words, and down to your heart center for kind intentions. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.